Microbiology. Is there any other group? Okay, this juncture I'd like to welcome the officials. I'm not going to introduce them, they are going to introduce themselves. So if you are a club official, unafaa kuwa hapa mbele. Let's hurry because of time. Hizi club hazina wadada. So you're going to introduce yourself, your name, the club which you are serving, and the position. Hakuna story mingi, hiyo tu tukimaliza.
Good afternoon. My name is Calvin Siakotieno, the organizing secretary, Bisaku. Thank you.
Okay, good evening. My name is John Busaku, heading project coordinator.
Good afternoon. I'm Posio Elijah Yonga, serving the Bisaku as the treasurer. Thank you.
Afternoon. I'm Piers Merriman, serving as Bisaku vice chair.
Good afternoon. Josco Boge, Bisaku chairperson. I'm going to invite the KUBSA team.
Good afternoon. My name is Whitney Rosbella. I serve as the second year class rep and the incoming vice chair KUBSA.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Maureen Sila. I'm serving as the secretary in the KUBSA club.
Good afternoon. I'm Winnie Modoni. I'm the chief auditor.
Afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeff Mwangi, serving as the vice organizing sec for KUBSA organization.
Everyone, my name is Isaac Mutai, KUBSA games coordinator.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Derek Opar, KUBSA project coordinator. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Ngonga Arun, vice chief auditor, KUBSA.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Elvis Yo. I'm serving as the vice project coordinator. I'm a second year student doing BSc Biochemistry.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amos Ngetich, serving as organizing secretary, KUBSA.
Good afternoon, Elvis Ocheng, KUBSA treasurer.
Good afternoon. I'm Wasike Samuel, the KUBSA chairperson, and I would like to welcome you to today's talk.
I would like to invite anyone from microbiology team. Microbiology.
Hello everyone, I'm Immaculate Lunyolo, upcoming chairperson Biology Club, Microbiology third year.
Okay, thank you, thank you. As you are waiting for the system to be set to have the presenters, I'm going to invite anyone mwenye anaweza ka-act, anyone mwenye anaweza try just any presentation for 5 minutes. Seems hakuna mtu. So I would like to thank all of you for availing yourselves and setting time to come, we engage, we talk, we get to grow together. I would like to remind not only the BISACU team, but the microbiology and the KUPSA. We will be having a children's home visit at Runyenjes on 28th. It will be on a Saturday. So if you have any donation and you'd like to attend, you can reach out to any executive, either KUPSA, microbiology chair, and the KUPSA chair. Thank you.
Yeah, we can appreciate them. Thank you. Those are the officials. So this time we were supposed to have a speech from our dean, but amechelewa kidogo. So what we are going to do, we are going to have that part in the program for entertainment. Tutaiweka hapa. Do you have the entertainment team or presentations? Aziko? Joe, wewe unakuanga msanii. Sio platform to shine. The entertainment team wako ama hawajafika? Hawajafika? Okay. I'll give personal presentation then kama kuna msanii hapa. I know of several wasanii here. Akwapi JJ? Yes, JJ, karibu. Kunaye? Yes, karibu bro. Hakuna. Watu wa microbiology walikuja? Let me see again. Watu wa microbiology ni akina nani? They are here. That is nice. Any other group that is represented here? Okay. Ni sawa. As we wait to start then, if you have no presentations, then maybe tunaweza ikiwa mziki tusikize kidogo as we wait for our first speaker to log in. It's Dr. Angela. Dr. Angela Makumi. Dr. Angela is a microbiologist specializing in molecular biology and bacteriophage research. She's a scientist at the International Livestock Research Institute, where she studies infectious diseases of livestock, focusing on zoonotic and host-specific pathogens. She holds a BSc in medical microbiology from Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, an MSc in molecular biology from Vrije University, Brussels, that is in Belgium, and a PhD in bioscience engineering from KU Leuven, that is in Belgium, where she investigated bacterial interaction in Salmonella. The rest she'll explain to us in her presentation. Help me appreciate her as she starts her presentation. Welcome, Dr. Angela.
Hey, is anyone talking, or because I'm trying to share my screen? Can anyone hear me?
I think we're waiting for you now.
Yes, but
Yeah, we
I'm
can
trying
hear
to
you.
share my screen, and I might be technologia not there. I'm trying to share the presentation, but I'm wondering how I can do it. Yes, I see Chrome tab, window, and entire screen.
You do the window.
Which I am.
You open first. Do this. Close the presentation. You had opened it earlier.
Yes, I did.
So close it.
I have to close the whole
And then-
thing. Okay.
No. The presentation. Close it.
Okay.
And then reopen it again. You close it. Yeah. When you reopen it again, it will come.
Okay. So let me see. There. I see myself. There. So I'll do it in. Can everyone hear can everyone see or hear myself? I'll probably take you guys somewhere here. I hope I'll keep on moving.
So we can see the screen.
Yes.
But personally, I'm not seeing the presentation, but you can see your screen. Is
Okay.
the document open? You
Yes,
have to close the
yes.
document and
Yes,
then
I did,
reopen
I
it
did.
and now share the window.
Give me 1 minute. So share again, share screen. Windows. Can you see it?
Yes, now we can
Alright.
see it. Good.
All right. So maybe I can begin, but I wish I was in the middle of the two presenters, because this is about a STEM talk. And for ladies who want to have a career in science, I think it will be very important to just hear and learn from experiences. But that does not mean I don't mentor male versus female. I mentor everyone, but I think females are a bit behind in terms of males. So my name is Dr. Angela Makumi. I come from the International Livestock Research Institute in Nairobi. I wear many hats, and you will realize at the end of my presentation how I was able to wear the many hats. But I think for my presentation, this is just a personal reflection on the path of discovery, challenge, and especially a triumph in pursuing STEM as a career, as a career in science, and as also a woman. So how can I go to next? There. So I had a BSc in JQuat, and then I had a molecular biology. These are all scholarships, except from the BSc in JQuat, but these were all scholarships from, depending on how you qualify after your BSc. So these are all scholarships. So I had a MSc in molecular biology, and then I had a BSc, PhD in bioscience engineering. And then I had my first postdoc in Republic of Ireland, and I had my second postdoc at ILRI Nairobi. And currently I am wearing many hats, but I'm a scientist at ILRI. But don't ask how old I am, because I was not there when Jesus turned water into wine. But all I'd like to reflect is I think in terms of where people feel in terms of the science field, especially when you're in as an undergraduate. Let me see if I can do a laser pointer. So this is sometimes how it feels, like you don't know what is really happening and where you need to go. And sometimes I think there are so many key elements that you have to understand. It's about your self-awareness, about the initiative and owning your own space, and about goal setting. Goal setting could be where you see yourself in 5 to 10 years, where you see yourself in a year, where you see yourself in 6 months, and about just engaging and managing also everything, because you can engage in people and everybody comes with a lot of ideas, beautiful ideas, but it's also managing these ideas and how you can see how fit how these ideas are fit for you. And also there's just monitoring and especially adapting. Adapting is the bigger key here, because we also have to learn how to adapt. So this was me long before, when I was doing my undergraduate at JKUAT, but now this is me. I'm not this woolly ball, but I'm there, but now you can see the strings are unattached and I'm figuring out myself. And all I can say is that when you look at a puzzle, everyone comes to play in a puzzle. So you have your social life, you have in terms of your personal life, you have your social life, your career life, your personal life, and your family life. But on this, what makes you be good at what you are? It's about your So here I'll go very quickly, but I think where we need to go through is the vision and the future, because for me, where it came from was when I was a child, the spark, and then the journey. I'll speak about a few of my challenges, obstacles. Here I will not speak about so much about my science, because once you have your education intact, you also have this outside environment that can easily be very manipulative to how you think or who you are or what you want to achieve as a purpose. And then the vision is contributing to society and creating impact, and this is where we are for this talk today. And what are some of the things I think about the future? So here I'm not going to deep dive about my science, and feel free to contact me at any point if you'd be willing to learn about the science, but here it's just about step-by-step process, and especially for women in science. So my journey was sparked when I was a childhood. I was a naughty kid. I was burning grass with magnifying glasses, observing salt on snails, and of course, mesmerized by the Venus fly traps. I used to drop flies in them. But it doesn't mean that you have to start from there. So curiosity always builds up. And then when you understand that you have the urge for science, when you really understand where you are, it can give you the tools that could make sense to the world, and a permission to never stop wondering. So when you're a scientist, you're always curious. You'll ask questions, and sometimes they can be rational, sometimes you'll be told, no, stop asking these questions. And as you grow in the science field, it is not that easy, but it can be easy. Depends on your wisdom and how you reflect on your personal growth. Yeah. Okay. So here I will just go for these two here, where it is the scientific understanding and a purpose-driven science. So as a childhood, you might or you might not have a joy of discovery and experimental, and then you're always asking questions. You know, those parents who feel annoyed, this kid of mine is always asking questions. So you're just like, should I stop asking? But how I grew up is my father always allowed me to ask questions, and my mother also. So they said questions are not bad. As long as you're not saying things or abusing someone or anything, questions are not bad. And so it came to my scientific understanding. It is finding your language in biology. And that is, I think that is where you all are. When you're asked if you're supposed to do an elevator speech about like 1 second, or like not 1 second, 1 minute, explain how curious you are. You should use the right language. You should use the right whatever, even if you're in chemistry or physics, and then just observing the natural phenomena. That helped me also learn about scientific thinking skills, because sometimes if you just talk blatantly, or it's just about the scientific knowledge that we all have to come to par, so that if or someone else meets you in an elevator, you should be able to say something in 1 minute but get the scientific output there. And then also, despite doing science is great, but why are you doing the science? What is your purpose? So that is when I came to realize that science can solve some problems, not all problems. I think we have to be realistic, but you also have to understand the niche that you go into. Whether you're, you might try to solve, some people are curious, they try to solve everything, and you just have to identify one problem that you want to deal with, how easy it will be for you, what tools you have in your hand. And right now, with how the world is growing very fast, I think tools available when we're growing up, and this makes life easier as long as you just have your purpose. You have to be purpose driven to know what problem you want to solve. So just a bit of my background. This is just a very personal journey. So I grew up with a mother and a father. They were all professors, and my mother deals with geography, and she comes from a place where she questioned a lot, and she was a woman professor early in the 70s or early in the 80s, and she's still a professor, retired, but she was in a male-dominated field. So she modeled me with a lot of grace and brilliance, and my dad also complemented that in a few ways. And this talk is just to also help embrace the future generation that comes in. Maybe one day you'll be a father, you'll be a mother, whatever you will decide, but I think that grace and brilliance has to come from people who have a scientific background. And then, so how I got to where I am, it is the champions, the encouragers, and the trailblazers. Unfortunately, at that time when I grew up, the champions were all male, but doesn't mean all male are bad. So all my champions, so 5 out of 7, as I continued growing in science, that's when I found women. But the people who set my pace were male, but and I have to give credit to them, because they could sit down, they could understand, they have very logical thinking. But it's up to everyone to identify a mentor, and a mentor could be a male or a female, and you have to choose very wisely. And then we had the encouragers, who were just the professors who were just there, just sitting and watching. So you have your champions, who are your mentors, then you have your encouragers, and the trailblazers is the people that you see, especially as a woman in science, you observe how other women are operating in their space. Like they have the scientific rigor, and if you're feeling tired, you can go and talk to them, and you just find a way of hitting one milestone after the other. And then, so here, I would say that as where you are, I think you're very powerful people, and even in the course that you're seated, and you're doing right now. I think there's a lot of school science clubs that are missing, and we had a very good system long before that could work for science clubs and everything, and we used to get people from universities coming just to teach the young people to do that. But it's also about where you think about yourself. That's why I said it is my vision for change, because it does not start with me and it does not stop with me. I found a system that works, and maybe it might work with other young generation like yourselves. And then what we do is also empower others, and we have the knowledge to action. So when you develop the skill of using science as a bridge, so like for me, the different hats that I wear right now, when the profile was read, I'm a microbiologist, I'm a molecular biologist, but it has not confined me to one space. So at one time you can hear bacteriophages, and at another time you can hear vaccine development. It's just how I use my knowledge to help. It is not about, sometimes it's about, okay, everyone needs a salary, I agree, but it's just about how you envision how you'd help a society. If you have the knowledge, don't keep quiet, just try and help. And if you see something going wrong, especially with the crisis of AMR and everything, I think it will be a better way for especially young people, when all of you can talk and embrace yourself as scientists, I think it will go further. So I think my deepest inquisitiveness were about why things worked and why people suffered from preventable loss. That is driven by a lot of things, but when you see science, it might look like an academic pursuit, but it might, if you look at it as, if you have purpose, then you can always go through it. So how did I break these boundaries, especially for women in science? So here I just say it's a very candid conversation, and I always say that it depends on how you look at life, and it depends on what you want to achieve. So for example, if I would share my insights of my personal experience navigating this path, it was just about long-term triumph versus systematic barriers, but they continue shaping, and I don't have one solution for everything, especially for women. And I think for me, what I did, and I always tell people, you don't need to follow me, is I needed to know that I wanted to have my master's, I wanted to have my PhD, I wanted to accomplish something at a certain age. But and unfortunately or fortunately, you sacrifice a lot on your personal life, whether you have a husband or whether you want to get married, whether you want to have kids. That's a balance that you have to create. So I can't say whether this is wrong or right, especially for women, but it's a balance where two people have to talk. So it's when you look at your future and you look at how you want to drive science, it's about talking and communicating and looking who's in the household and the decisions that you make. So the multidimensional challenges for women in STEM, I think it's just misaligned career choices, and this I speak not only to women but also to a lot of people who join campus, just join and they say, oh, it's because of my parent or it's because of this, but is it really your passion? And if you are good and if you're good at what you do, I'm sure you'll find your passion. So, and a lot of people make early pressure, like in academic decisions, like anybody who will speak into your life will tell you, you need to do this by a certain time, but you also need to find your own grounding. And I think with that, if you find your own grounding and you know science is for you, and then you find the right footsteps, then you will not have misaligned academic choices. And then even if you find them, then you'll maybe have to travel out. Sometimes, like I traveled, I stayed in Europe for maybe 12 years, but then there was also cultural transitions that you have to do, but you also have to be willing to accommodate. It's not, and then also do your science and practice your science and be willing to learn. And then there's also, for me, there was motherhood that came after everything, and then there's just returning to work, which I think now a lot of funding agencies are doing it. As if you're a mother and you had this small break because you have a baby and you have to have like a break. What is it called? Maternity leave. So they do that, but you also have to just be careful. The world does not stop because you have a maternity leave. So you'll always be in a competition, and that is why I was hoping I would be in the middle of the two great gentlemen who are presenting. Yeah. So I think the dual reality is fulfillment versus frustrations, and everyone has a different frustration. So you just have to create meaningful moments. So if you figure out the direction you want to go, and if you figure out a lot of things, so you can apply your science, if you just have to know who you are. And then the science will provide real world solutions to the problems that we have. And then unfortunately here we'll have also institutional gaps, but institutional gaps can always be overcome. Like, for example, if you want to go and talk to a dean, or if you want to go and talk to a professor, there's always ways you can go around it, as long as you have your drive. And so some of the things that we look at is institutional gaps. How is an institute supporting young people to come up into science? And then now I think since COVID, we have the flexibility of working remotely, and this is when we are at home, when we're not doing lab. So that has really helped us a lot. So my advice to you is you choose, whether you're in your first year, second year, towards the third year, you should have made a choice to choose study areas based on passion rather than prestige. And then you seek mentors who understand your unique journey, and then maybe build support networks before you need them. Like, if you see yourself, you're going to be somewhere in 5 years, start creating these networks, and then learn to advocate for systems that recognize life complexity. This is a very broad statement for women in science. So at the end of it all, I would like to just say that in life, you have to have passion, mission, vocation, and profession. So your passion and mission will always interlink. So what you love. And then your mission and vocation is about what the world needs. And then profession is what you're good at what you can be paid for. So I think I've finished my 15 minutes or maybe longer. So I'm hoping I could give an overview, but for scientific work, you can always come back or write me an email. But this was just my journey. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Angela, for the nice presentation. I'd like to welcome our Dean for the appreciation of our speaker before we proceed to the next facilitator. Welcome very much, Prof.
Thank you. I was asking if I do it while standing or while seated, because the speaker, the virtual speaker, is not here. But good afternoon. I think I need more energy than that. Good afternoon. Thank you. My name is Professor Kamweru Paul. I'm the Dean, Faculty of Science and Technology. Most of you have interacted with you as my students. Today I'm also in the capacity, wearing the shoes of the Vice Chancellor. I'm the acting Vice Chancellor today. The VC, Professor Henley Mutembei, is not around. And I want to, I've just been told to appreciate the speaker. But before I do that, I want to remind you students and all the staff seated here that 3 years ago, we started this and we have kept the promise. Simu tupigie makofi. Thank you very much. Pigieni Angeline makofi. We have done this every semester and we will continue to do it for your benefit, and it has already been beneficial. We started a smaller number, but I can see the room is almost bursting. And Angeline, I think next time we'll be changing venue, because now students have seen the essence and the importance and the benefits of coming. So I've been late and I had several remarks to make, but because the event has already started, allow me to say this, that we really, really appreciate our speakers, although virtual. Next time we'll bring them here. We really, really appreciate that they took time out of their busy schedule to prepare so that they mentor you, they interact with you. And I have one plea to you, a request to you students. After you listen keenly, and after you assimilate whatever you are hearing, also engage with these people, because they are your mentors. They are people who have gone ahead of you. They have walked the path. They know what you are undergoing. They know what you expect. They know what is coming next for you. Interact with them, engage with them constructively so that you benefit. And next time, it is you who will call to come and mentor others. If we call you, will you come? Inua mkono kama utakuja. Naona huinui, and I will call you personally. Thank you very much. Tupigie the presenter makofi ingine. Asanteni sana. May it proceed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor. Before we proceed to the next speaker, maybe if anyone has a question to Dr. Angela. Anyone? Yes, Elijah, you can ask your question.
Okay, thank you so much. So, about institutional gap, and my question be that maybe, what are you trying, sorry? So, she has spoken about the institutional gap. I'm sorry for that. You have spoken about an institutional gap. So this is my question. How are you trying to bridge it on a personal level, maybe in terms of personal mentorship, and perhaps maybe if she is willing to pick up some of our fourth years to mentor them on personal level. Thank you. That's my question.
Thank you, Elijah. Any other question before we give our speaker time to answer? Hakuna ingine? Yeah, okay then maybe Dr. Angela, you can help answer that question.
Perfect question that he's asked, because we're also trying to fill in the institutional gaps. Because a training like this, I would not know what other universities are doing, but in terms of training for the future, we also have our huge networks. At ILRI, it's a bit of a complicated situation because you have to be taken up as an intern and through a project. So it also depends on funders, and it will depend on what we are trying to accomplish. So, but in terms of mentorship, yes, I'm willing, and that's why I say there's no connotation to women or men, but I do understand there's a huge gap between women and men. But I take anyone for mentorship, and especially for career development in terms of what is your next story? Like, where do you want to go next? Whether it is to your master's or whether you're figuring out, is this course, is this job that I do, or what is it? So I welcome, but not so many, because I'm also one person. So I do welcome a few. I hope that has answered your question.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for that, Dr. Angela. Any other question? Okay, if there is none, I'm going to introduce our next speaker. And our next speaker is Onesimus M. Maithia. Onesimus is a PhD candidate in food science at the University of Manitoba, Canada. He holds MSc in chemistry engineering and technology from Donghu University in Shanghai, and a BSc in biochemistry from the University of Nairobi. He is going to explain more about his PhD research and what he does. Help me appreciate Onesimus as he does his presentation. Welcome, Onesimus.
Okay, can you hear me? Hello. Hello.
Us online, we can hear you.
Oh, so you guys can hear me. Okay, and my camera. Okay. Is my camera on? Okay, sorry. Yeah, so apparently it's morning here from where I'm speaking to you guys. And I'm getting a problem to control my PowerPoint. I'll stop sharing, then go back. So let me share my screen. I don't know, I cannot move. So thank you so much for the invitation for this talk. Apparently, I'm telling this my classmates. We did bachelor's together. I'm still struggling to move from my PowerPoint. I don't know why. Enough control.
Yes, Doc. Onesimus. Yes.
Yeah.
The entire screen.
You
now it's better.
Is my PowerPoint moving?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now you can see it. It's good.
Is it on the first slide?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. So, as I was saying, like, Angelin is my classmates back in University of Nairobi, where my journey started, and I'm really honored to be part of this talk for you guys. Apparently, in our times, we had a few, but not like this one. I think for you, it comes every other time. Yeah. So, as I was introduced, I'm not yet a doctor. I think I'm headed there very soon. I'm a PhD candidate in food science at University of Manitoba. And I would like to ask a question to every of you students. I understand you guys are doing biochemistry, microbiology, and technology. Is it microbiology, biotechnology, biomedical? So why are you guys studying this course? Why? I have the answers here. Do you want to pass the exams? Do you want to graduate, to just graduate, have a degree? Or do you I'd say it's powerful, only when applied. I myself, I did science. If you look at my profile, it's a mix of science. I shuttled from biochemistry. I went to chemical engineering. Now I'm doing food science. I'll come back to that later when I'm talking about my journey. So, as I said, my journey started at the University of Nairobi. I did BSc Biochemistry, and then I proceeded to do a master's in engineering, chemical engineering and technology, in a university called Donghua University. It's in China, Shanghai. And then now I'm doing PhD in food science. Apparently, in between my degrees, I did work. I worked in the healthcare industry, and I want to also talk about that one. 7 years plus. I did work between my BSc and my master's. There are 5 years of working, and I know most of you, I'm not sure if you are familiar with this journey of when we graduate with science, especially biomedical science, especially in Kenya, we proceed to do pharmaceutical sales. I was a medical rep. I think I've been to Chuka's town back in around 2015, marketing pharmaceutical. It's a sort of marketing which it's like, but again, you use science because we understand the mechanism of drug interaction, and it's easy for you to understand. And there's also a licensing process that gives you an edge if you are in health, in life sciences or health sciences. So that's what I did for around 5 years. Then I went on to apply for my master's in chemical engineering and technology at Donghua University, which came, apparently I was edging to molecular biology, and I did apply for molecular biology in that university. It was taught in Chinese. So I'm not saying I was a bit flexible. I worked in pharmaceutical, and my experience during work taught me to be flexible. So I took chemical engineering and technology because it was a course that was really aligned with my dreams. I tell you my dreams, like through my dreams, I've always said that science should produce a product which is tangible. So with that, I proceeded to do chemical engineering and technology. Specifically, I was doing something called material science, chemistry. I'll explain more about it as we proceed. Then I did my master. I finished my master's. I came back to Kenya in 2020. During the COVID times, I was in China. So I came back to Kenya, stayed in Kenya for other I really looked for a job. Continue my getting an edge in an area where I can apply my. Then I go to come to University of Manitoba, where I still do research in material science, and then as I can say, your degree is just a foundation, it's not a limitation. You're not limited I won't say you should jump to another area, but you should have that mindset that you can do anything with your degree. So this is the highlight of my research, like for my master's my master's research. My master's research adds nanochitin-based pickering immersion. The name looks fancy, I know. Microencapsulation of thermal materials. So the thing is, this nanochitin is from shrimp shells. So we made nanomaterials from bio-based, it's a bit of bio-based food waste to make encapsulation, like capsules to do microencapsulation. It's a molecular, it's a synthetic, to replace synthetic surfactants, like to make materials which can be applied to do like solar energy absorption, and then eventually use that energy during night. Places like where I am now, like there's some places they apply this similar technology, whereby a material is going to absorb energy, changing from one phase to another, from solid to liquid. And during that change, there's breakage of bonds, and those bonds, they absorb heat energy. Then when it's cold, this is a smart material, it's going to release the heat. So depending on the environment, the material is going to absorb heat and release it. That's what the technology we were trying to improve in China. Specifically, we were just coating the materials. There are materials available. Apparently, a classical example would be like ice, whereby when ice is melting, it doesn't change temperature, but it changes the form. If you check the temperature at some point, it would be the same. Then if it's liquid, the water would be like around 4 degrees. The ice was around maybe 4 degrees, but it changes to liquid. So in that's called the phase change, like a process. So it absorbs heat, and then when it's cold, it will just again reform by releasing the heat inside it. So these are the materials we worked on. We were trying to prevent this material from leakage using this nanochitin-based like polymers. Yeah, so again, you guys are talking about from knowledge to impact. The impact was about stabilizing this material and also sustainability. Then, moving on to my PhD, of which I'm a student now. My PhD research is based on protein-based wood adhesive materials. Like, basically, we are just making glue from protein. Yeah, if you check, if you go to some details about, if you use like wheat flour, yeah, wheat flour is sticky. What makes wheat flour sticky is a protein called gluten that is found in wheat flour. So in Canada, where I'm based, they have a lot of canola. So wherever they produce canola, they squeeze the seeds, they produce the oil. So what remains is rich in proteins, but those proteins are underutilized. So my research is on extracting this protein, and then there's also fiber in those proteins. Using my knowledge in my master's to make nano lignocellulose, which I'm going to combine to develop a bio-based adhesive. So the problem with this adhesive material, the glue, is that is available is toxic to the environment, and it's also not sustainable. It's from fossil fuels. So that's the problem we are trying to solve. Then again, at the same time, we're trying to solve the problem of agricultural waste. So this is like what we call circular economy. So we are trying to reuse agricultural material in other industries, reducing waste and coming up with safer materials and waste valorization. And I think I talked a lot about my stuff. So again, I'd say in between my master's when I worked, I did learn a lot of skills of which everyone needs to learn, like time management skills, like project management skills, because these are projects you get. The difference between, I also want to highlight the difference between a master's and PhD research is that master's research is direct driven, but a PhD research is, of which I'm in the process, is not direct. You have a research question which needs to be answered in a way that you have to create your own pathway. There are sources in the literature, but no one has really done it in that area. So, I would like to talk about what makes the difference for you in this journey of creating impact from theory, practice, then you move to impact. So what makes the difference is you need to master the basics. You need to have the basics of be an expert in your course, and then have a critical thinking. So don't just you have the knowledge of, I'll take an example of the glycolysis that we do in biochemistry. Like, that pathway, everything. So you should ask yourself, what happens if we can shut this step? What happens if this step doesn't work? I think that's what happens to most of the drug industry and all that. They want to shut a process for some bacteria. So that's a thing. As you go in if you read and does that one, then you have a problem-solving mindset. You want to solve this problem. Like, if you see a problem, you want to solve it. You want to ask questions like, how can I navigate this process? How can I navigate this? Not only in science, but also in your life. Then, communication and curiosity. You need to have good communication skills on how to interact with your professors, and then you ask curious questions, and then you need to join like-minded groups. Like, apparently you guys have this group which you're talking to different experts, different people. Then lastly, you have to keep your dreams alive. You have a dream, like for me, I had a dream of I need to master my skills. I need to master to continue with my education to make this impact and all that and all that. So that's a thing that you should always keep in your mind, and as you move from there, towards impact, because you cannot make an impact by, sometimes you'll get obstacles. I wouldn't say my journey will be easy, because sometimes you have to go an extra mile. You have to use maybe you need to use your circle, you need to use your money, you need to use a lot. And the speaker who talked before me, sorry I joined late, because here it's around 6:52 right now. So the thing is, she talked about having those things like your family and all that. Yeah, so there are things you should, as you continue dealing with those things, keep your dreams alive, and then you focus. Yeah, so thank you so much, and I wish you all the best. Yeah, so as I said, the last one is just don't just learn science, use science. And then I told you to ask yourself, what problem can I solve? How can I create impact? And that is how to move from knowledge to impact. So thank you so much. I'm happy that you guys are able to accommodate me despite the time difference. Thank you.
Thank you too. Thank you to Onesimus for the nice presentation. Let's clap for him. I'll welcome our Dean to appreciate him before we go to the question.
Thank you very much, Onesimus. I'd already given you a title, Dr. Onesimus. You have shown us it's coming. Want to appreciate your talk.
Okay.
Thank you for reminding us that there is a lot that we can do with our degrees, and it is also very interesting to see the kind of path that you have taken from your bachelor's to master's and now to PhD. The same knowledge, the same science, but serving in different or appealing to different sectors that pertains to us as humanity. We appreciate you. Thank you for taking time to talk to us. And now we invite questions, if there are any, or there is none.
Questions? Hatuna maswali. Yes, Alex, you have a question.
Thank you, Dr. Onesimus and Angeline, for what you are teaching us. So, my question is, can we create or build a bridge whereby we create a platform where we can add all the students doing sciences in biological, physical students, so that we can they can be teaching us once in a week, instead of us having this program once a year.
Yes. Okay, so, sorry, I did not get your question because of sound. Maybe I can answer that. Okay. The volume is really...
I was asking that instead of us having program once a year, can we create a platform whereby we can reach you, or you can be teaching us, like in we create a WhatsApp whereby you will be teaching us even once a week, instead of us having this program once a year?
Okay, that's a good idea, and it's good to learn from each other. We are also learning. Everyone is learning. So I have good connection with my classmates, Angeline. So that is doable. And despite the difference in time and difference in and commitment, we can do it. So depends on how you guys are going to organize yourself, and once in a week might be tricky. Maybe once in a month we can do it from my side. So I don't know about the other speakers, but for me, once in a month will be okay for me, and I will appreciate even talking to the other people. Yeah, like.
Okay, thank you, Onesimus. I see Dr. Angela has raised a hand. Madam.
I agree with Onesimus. Maybe once a month will be okay. And then we can figure out from once a month how we go forward. It could be shorter, it could be longer, but I think for initial meetings, maybe once a month, because he's a PhD student. I'm also on this other side, so I think just to accommodate everyone, I think once a month, if the forum is formed, it will be good enough starting point.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. That is wonderful. I think that is good enough. Sindio? Yeah. My brother there.
Good evening, everyone. So I'm Victor, Biomed, second year. I have this question to Onesimus.
given the diverse approach when you umeenda different countries to study, so given venye kumekuja na AI which is coming like in affect to the labor market, so like personally I feel tukienda kwa job market tutapata a lot of AI being used, and being students I think tunasoma just the, how do I say, the traditional technologies ya kitambo. So I have this question to you. So given the rapid advancement in the AI, what specific measures are being taken to integrate the knowledge into the biomedical and biochemical curriculum to ensure students are prepared for the current trend in the field?
Okay, so sorry again. It was too low. Maybe somebody can, almost the moderator can really give it an overview of the question.
Okay. So, check. Victor is talking about AI, the upcoming of AI, and its integration in the biomedical biochemistry program. So, given the trend for biomedical scientists to pursue masters, what are the key gaps should be? Oh, you have many questions. With the upcoming of AI, so what should be done to ensure students are prepared for the current trends in the field with what we are learning currently in school?
Okay, so if I can rephrase the question, I think, was it about the application of AI in education in the next level, and what opportunities does AI in biomedical sciences have for all of us? Is that, am I good with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would say currently some students are doing research. So there's something called simulations. I'm talking from the area that I'm working, because I work with, in the labs we work, and also in my circles, I work with people, I interact with people who are doing research in some in material science, especially when I was doing my master's. Material science, you can do an experiment, then using the thread of the experiment, you can simulate it using AI applications and all that. And some people are doing, specifically if I talk about food science, some people are doing fermentation they're just using like AI training, like they train a model to be able to predict the next results, rather than continue doing, you do the experiment, you get the results, then with that results, you build a model that is going to go ahead and predict you just need to be changing something about the inputs. Let's say you're using small volumes, then you can use large volumes, and simulating that, you can see how the results will be based on what you have really done. So there are opportunities, and then again, depends on what your interests are and what's available. You know, AI, everything is evolving every day. In 2020, when I was finishing my master's, but that's so many years ago, there was no, ChatGPT was not there, other AI was, ChatGPT is the one that revolutionized AI use and all that. So again, with the use of AI, you know, there's a limitation. Even some journals are allowing you to use AI, and you need to say, did you use this AI to do this and this and this? It should be like the one helping you to make what you have in your mind. It just makes work faster. It doesn't replace what you're supposed to do. It just makes you, like, you come up with the idea. It cannot come up with the idea. So the idea is just then the execution. Maybe it's a tool that you can use it to leverage on your strength and all that. Yeah. I think maybe somebody else can answer more.
Okay, thank you. So this question, I think maybe the person who could have answered better was our dean, because it was talking about the curriculum. According to the evolution of AI, how can that be integrated in the biomedical and biochemistry curriculum to ensure that students are prepared for the current trends? Integration of AI.
The question should not even be how, because it should be when. Because we already know how we can use AI in content generation, design of curricula. We also have VR labs now, virtual reality labs. You don't have to go to a physical lab. There are many things that are on the pipeline. So, and as Chuka University, we are not be left behind. As the speaker has said, that is on ESMAS. He has only talked of a journal that allows you to publish, or journals now can allow you to publish paper as long as you declare how and where you used AI. It is also what we are envisaging here as a university. We are looking at policies that we need to put in place so that we understand to what extent can the educators, can the teachers, the lecturers, the professors, and also the students, to what extent they can use AI, and if we allow you to use AI, including in the way we assess you, then what policies even change, or formative, or the other one, I'm forgetting the name. What kind of exams are you going to be doing if we allow you to be assisted with AI? So the conversation is ongoing, and very soon you will see.
Okay, thank you, Prof. I can see Dr. Angela has raised a hand. Maybe she can put something onto it.
Yeah, so I think I do agree with Onesmus and the previous speaker about AI, because I think there's the scientific tools that we use that are coded for a specific reason. They're not just AI. They're AI, but they're not really, I don't know how I can explain it, because I think here it's where the definition of AI becomes convoluted. Because there's the AI of writing where you drop your manuscripts in, or you drop all papers and it gives you a summary, and then there's now the science part of it that are with coded programs, with everything, and maybe Onesmus can talk more on this, but they're all AI, but I think we need to learn how to utilize them. And I'm not so sure if we are allowed to publish. Maybe things are changing, but is someone allowed to publish a draft from AI and put all the papers together and just get a summary? Because in our time we used to look at this, look at that, and write and write and write, but I'm not so sure how it has changed. But maybe things are changing through universities and we need to give a leeway, or maybe say no. I'm not so sure. Thank you.
Okay, maybe Onesmus, you can proceed with that.
Okay, I just want to make more clarification on that. It looks like when you use, there's some, you don't need to use, you are not supposed to use AI exclusively to do your experiments. And especially as in science, like everyone here, you need to do the experiment, get the results and all that. But there are some very few journals, others are not embracing that, because maybe you can say you use AI to do like some of the rewriting. I don't know if that's where she said that, Angela said that it's really tricky to ascertain if this is AI or not, because there's something called we use in the Word document, grammar. Yeah, you need to specify up to and all that. So if I would also go to research, sometimes you have a research question and you are looking for some methods, you are doing experiments. So nowadays we can go to those you know, some some things are just like you want to use Excel to maybe do a graph. You want to use, there's another software called Origin. So you are stuck somewhere. You want to do something. So you can use AI tools to help you like get the way out on doing those things. Like it's the way we used to use maybe YouTube, how to do this, how to do that, and how to do this one. Yeah, but the thing is, there's a lot of, I won't say it's a confusion, but universities are trying to, and I was happy to hear, I'm sorry I wasn't there when to start. The professor was talking about, I don't remember his name. So who is saying that Chuka University is coming with policies on that? Yeah, even at University of Manitoba, their policies, they are coming up with policies now, like, because everything is evolving and they're coming up with policies on how to use it, because some student might use it to write essays and all that. And there's a way for somebody to know that you use AI to generate this information, you use AI to do this and this. Yeah. So for me, the advice I'll give you for now is that use it as a guiding tool. Don't use it like as the main thing for you to be writing. Use your creativity, because it will limit your creativity once you use it as a guiding tool. You want to do this, it shows you the process, then use your creativity to like enhance what it's giving you. So thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Onesmus. So we can appreciate him. Yeah, at this juncture, I want us to welcome our last speaker of the day. And he goes by the name Dr. Frank Wanyama. Dr. Frank Wanyama is a clinical biochemistry lecturer at the University of Nairobi and an accomplished researcher in molecular medicine and gynecological cancers. He holds a PhD in molecular medicine from Charité Medical University, Berlin, Germany, an MSc in medical biochemistry from Kenyatta University, a BSc in biochemistry from the University of Nairobi, an HDN in clinical chemistry from the Technical University of Kenya, and a diploma in medical laboratory technology. He's going to explain the rest in his presentation, and let us appreciate him as he comes to present. Welcome, Dr. Frank.
Thank you. I don't know whether you can hear me, Albert.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Great. So thank you for your kind introduction. And I'm equally grateful for the activity that you are undertaking at Chuka University. Sorry, I have, don't know how to unmute this. It's just that I'm having two conflicting things that are going at the same time, and all of them are online, so I think I have had to drop from the other one. So thank you very much, Angie, for your work that you are doing in Chuka University. I also want to thank the Dean, Professor Kamweru, my good friend. I don't know whether Dr. Willie Ndeke is there, but if he's there, receive my greetings. So I will go straight away to project my presentation. And first of all, I also need to acknowledge Onesmus from Canada, my good friend. We have had our paths meet during our academic days at the University of Nairobi. Okay. So I hope you can be able to see my my screen. Can you see my presentation?
Yeah, we can see your presentation.
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah, I'm trying to do it a slideshow, but there's no response. I think it's not.
I think you should,
Yeah.
maybe you should do it on your computer. Present on your computer, it will go in presentation mode from your computer.
Oh, from my computer, okay.
Yeah, not from the online platform.
Okay. Okay.
I did that, so just try and see.
Okay. Okay, I'll stop presenting and then do that. It's not working for me, I think. But can you be able to see?
Yes, we can see it.
That's what Nesmas can be able to see, fine. What about those in the hall, the students? Are you able to see? I hope you have a big screen. So.
Yes, we are able to see.
Okay. Okay, so the theme for the talk today is bridging theory and practice from knowledge to impact. And it is my pleasure for me to speak to you, our future scientists especially, and also our scientists who are already in this forum, about my personal reflection on this theme that might be able to encourage some of our prospective scientists that are already in the formation phase. Now, the problem here is that I will not be able to move this. This my slide.
Could you try to go from beginning, the beginning on the screen?
On the beginning of the screen?
No, on the upper side there is from current slide, there on the far left, yeah, from beginning, you click there, is it working?
Okay. Well, I've never used this WPC something.
Oh yeah, it could be that issue. There.
So you can see, isn't it? You can see the movement.
Are you moving? No, we can't see the movement. You moving?
Okay.
Yeah, we can see the movement. Yeah. Now it can move. Now it's moving.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So my academic path is as elucidated on this slide. I finished my PhD sometimes in 2023 in clinical chemistry. That is at Charité Medical University Berlin in Germany. And this was followed, after that, I had done a master's in medical biochemistry at the Kenyatta University. And then there was a BSc in biochemistry, University of Nairobi, where our paths converged with that of Angie and Onesmus back then at the University of Nairobi. And then I also did an HND in clinical chemistry before that, at the Technical University of Kenya, and DMLT in Technical University of Mombasa. Beyond that, I'm a state-registered medical laboratory practitioner and a member of the Clinical Chemistry Association of Kenya, which is an affiliate of International Federation of Clinical Chemists, which is headquartered in Italy. So the lessons from my journey that can encourage someone here is that in each of the educational steps that I have undergone, it served a purpose. And this was, first of all, to build the strong theoretical foundations, which at the moment, you, the young scientists, are undergoing. You are being molded to build the theoretical foundations that will form you as a scientist to be able to probe why things happen the way they are and why you think they should happen differently, because that is the life of a scientist. Then through this journey, it developed the practical laboratory competence. I have the requisite competence for my work, scientific work. I have seen in this country people doing their masters and doing their PhDs. Most of their work is done by someone else and they do the analysis. Their work is just to do the statistical analysis. As a professional, don't take that direction. You need to know how results is developed from the lab. As a scientist, you need to have knowledge of the methods that you are using in producing that result, because again, you can be that change that can bring into method change. However, if you just take your samples and whatever you want to analyze to someone else in a lab and only get results, that does not develop you as a scientist. And finally, through this path, I was able to define my specialization, something that I liked doing, and that was clinical chemistry. So in the medical laboratory discipline, we have different disciplines. There is hematology, there is immunology, there is the clinical chemistry, there is microbiology, there is parasitology. So during the study period, you find yourself the discipline that you align with, and then decide to take it to another level. So right now, maybe you are doing your foundation in biochemistry, you are doing your foundation course in biotechnology or biomedical laboratory science. So in future, you'll have to reach a point where you decide that I want to be so and so. Okay, so what I can tell you is that career growth is not accidental. It is built step by step, and you have to be clear and persistent. You don't decide to become a hematologist, and then in the middle of it, you say, okay, I think I'm having the ideas. Then you'll keep changing your path forever. And then you end up a disappointed person in career-wise. So you have to be very clear, and you have to be persistent even when things are not working. They have to work. Because they have worked for someone else, and you have been there, you have gone, you have traveled a long way from your primary school days to secondary school, and now you're at the university. Why do you think anything can, stop you? So you have to believe in yourself and believe that you are unstoppable. So it's a path that you will not travel alone. You will keep supporting each other as young scientists, just like established scientists do. You have to hold each other hands, to go to the top. If you are weak in a certain area, definitely you have a friend that is strong in that area and can help motivate you to be better, to be a better scientist in that area. So, and that is the significance of that photo, that together we are in science. So my professional roles, I am currently a clinical chemistry lecturer at the University of Nairobi. I also serve as a technical director of a UON 1-4 laboratory skills. This is a collaboration between University of Nairobi and 1-4 Biotech, which is a manufacturing firm for point-of-care testing devices back in Guangzhou, China. I'm also an university, and I also serve on the board of management as a chairman, a board of management for Siopot Level 4 Hospital, as a chairman, which is a position in Kenya State. I'm also a chair of Rainbow for Africa Kenya, and I'm head of Rainbow for Africa United Kingdom. And this is a medical development charity which is currently working in 7 counties in this country. Therefore, the lessons that you can draw from, my professional roles is that science is not just limited to the lab alone. You can also be a leader in different aspects and service. So you are in the lab as a scientist, but the leadership call will come, and also service to the community must be manifested for you to be an all-round scientist and indeed a contributor to the community. My research focus, from where you can also draw inspiration from, is that of inquiring of ideas that are impactful in transforming health. I, for example, have specialized in gynecological cancer research through the field of glycobiology, and it involves discovery of biomarkers that can improve early diagnosis of cancer, because we know cancer is only treatable if it is detected at its earliest stage. So at the moment, most of the testing that we have, they are insensitive, and they also lack the accuracy to give the cancer in its very early form. And hence, this research in biomarkers, it's urgent, and it needs much more attention than probably what we have at the moment. I also do translational research. This is research that actually goes to improve treatment at the bedside of the patient, and also, promote the good prognosis of patients. Besides that, I am a mentor. I mentor the young scientists as you, those who are aspiring to do their PhDs, those who are in their masters. I do mentorship, and I can also be able to advise you on matters, foreign study. If you wish to study in foreign universities, then we can also give you advice. But first of all, you have really to work hard if you really want to be like Onesmus in Manitoba, my friend Onesmus. You have really to work hard, try as much as you can to be an A student as you have been back then in high school. So try to get good grades, and then they will market you. Also do implementation science. That is now a real science that goes into, addressing real communal issues in many areas. And this could also include One Health. So my approach in my research work is to embrace local and international collaboration. So I collaborate a lot with our local scientists, and I also collaborate a lot with the international scientists, because one thing we have to be very deliberate as a country, or as Kenyans, or as Africa as a continent, is that we don't have too much resource that we invest in research. And that's why Onesmus told you that it is known that after biochemistry, you join sales representatives. So that is not the real work of a biochemist. In countries that invest in research, a biochemist will not do that work, because they are needed in the lab to, make findings that can really impact on the society. So why we collaborate is that we don't have enough resource in Africa to allocate to research the way other people like in the northern do. So we have no choice other than to establish these collaborations so that we can be able to ride on their resources, but as well as, it's a partnership that is hinged on them giving the resources, but you are providing your mind, your intellect. And also we are lucky, especially in human science, because we can be able to generate data here because we have the samples. I was having a discussion with Italian collaborators. When we look at cervical cancer in Italy, it's too low. The incidences are very low. Very low. It's no longer a threat as a killer. But when you look at Kenya, cervical cancer is number 2 among gynecological cancer. It's a big, big killer. Okay? So for them, if they want to do research on cervical cancer, it will take them a very long time because of the numbers. Whereas for us, it will take us a very short time because of the numbers. And this does not make us to be, happy about it. It's because Italians have done something that has made those numbers to go down, such that cervical cancer is no longer such a big threat. However, for our case, because of lack of investment, we still have cervical cancer as a big killer. So if we want, for example, for us to be also able to transform that data, to have it go down, then we have no choice other than to collaborate and also learn what they have done. And if it is possible that we can also replicate the same in Kenya and find solutions for our community. So collaboration is very important as a scientist. So my take-home message on this is that moving discovery from laboratory bench to patient care where they truly matter. So this is where that is the idea of my science. And I want to persuade you that you start also harboring such kind of thoughts at this time of your formation as a future scientist. So our topic today is on bridging theory and practice. And when we talk about this theme, the theory gives you the understanding. So that is what is making the foundation of you as a scientist. So you have to take a real interest in building this theory in your mind and understanding the scientific concepts, so that now when you move to the practice, you have a good foundation. You understand, you can comprehend the theories that you have done in your lecture halls. So then this practice will now is one that will give you the relevance. Because at the moment you are a student, you are relevant to us as lecturers because we are practicing lecturers. So you are giving us work of molding you. So for us, at this point, we are relevant in that we are able to produce you at graduation ceremonies. So you should also look at these as your opportunity to understand theories, and in future, either if you become an academia, then you'll become relevant to the society by being able to mold other future scientists. However, if you are in the lab, this theory also is giving you the foundation to practice in the lab in a stable manner that can produce results which would be helpful to the society. So this impact only happens when the two are connected. That is the theory and the practice. So I would also add that knowledge alone is not enough. You must apply it to solve real problems. That is then how to become relevant after you have gained the knowledge that you are trying to gain at your university days. So the society is waiting for you, the young scientists, that you are the next generation that are going to be the problem solvers of this world. Because the problems, the challenges are not ending, and therefore science is dynamic and it's growing. We will carry this load up to a certain point and then hand it over to you. So it is up to you to carry the stick to the next generation. And so that is the scientist that Professor Kamweru, that Angeline is trying to mold you into. And of course, many other academicians that are at Chuka University. So what is the gap in our setup? In our setup as Africa, as Kenya, is that students are currently graduating actually with very strong theoretical knowledge, because you have very qualified professors, some of them with international connections, who are really prepared to mold you into future scientists. However, there is no proper connection between our universities and industries. So we are most of the time very rich on the theory, but not practice, because it has now also become very expensive to even attach a student. For example, if you, they have seen the biomedical biomedical lab science, I think, among this group. For you to get an attachment in Kenyatta National Hospital, you have to pay 20,000. Elsewhere, in other parts of the world, you will be entitled to a stipend instead. However, if you look for an attachment in many parts of this country, a student must pay something. Recently, just this week, I was registering a student who has come under my mentorship from Sweden, Gothenburg University. The student has had to pay 500 US dollars. That's the equivalent of 65,000 Kenya shillings. So this kind of relationship between the industry and our higher learning institutions prohibits our students from getting the real practice. I don't know about my colleague from ILRI, if you also have that kind of approach, but I think ILRI has been a lot more helpful to university in terms of attaching students, and I think also Cambridge. So now there is that disconnect between the industry, what you know, and what the world needs, and how to achieve it. So you as a future scientist, your goal should be to close this gap early by your innovative strategic moves. So in spite of these problems that I have said, as a young scientist who is focused, you know what you want. Many a times universities will not help you to get these attachments. They will only write to you letters. So it calls upon you to be very innovative to get this practice. And it's through this practice that you also make connections with your future employers. Some students have gone on attachments, and out of those attachments, they got jobs. And it also happened, for me, it also happened that way for my case. When I went for internship in Pandya Memorial Hospital, that is in Mombasa, I was able to be linked earlier on to another internship, and then another internship, and then it led to the University of Nairobi. So I'm just simply telling you to be very innovative at this stage. The university may not help you, will only help you with a letter of recommendation. And I'm glad with what Angela usually does. She goes out of her way as a mentor to somehow also inquire internship positions for her students. That is commendable. That is not what many lecturers do. So the ball is in your court as a future scientist. If you see no one is coming to hold your hand, please look for these hands to hold. And there are many out there. So generally the lessons that you can learn from my journey, my professional and career journey, is that build strong fundamentals in science, and this is the right stage you are in, and seek hands on experience early. Okay, try to get experience, try to have a CV at this stage. That will open your path. Even as a student, it's possible for you to attend conferences, and many conferences that happen around here usually have a small cost for students. So take advantage of such conferences that are aligned with the area of training, so that you can, at this early stage, start building a CV and start building a science behind you, so that even when you are evaluated in other universities, because at the University of Nairobi, if you come there for masters, especially those who do medicine, they have to do an interview. So in some universities out there, international, in the international space, Sometimes they evaluate the scientific content that you possess, and that is not many times what is in your head, rather what is on the paper, on your CV. So start building yourself right now as a scientist and keep the focus. So be open to interdisciplinary learning. You are a biotechnologist. Do not close your eyes to microbiology. These are your partners. Biomedical laboratory science and biochemistry. Do not close your mind to some fields such as microbiology. I have my friends who are biochemists, but at the moment they are very established researchers winning big grants in infectious diseases. So take advantage of the friendship you have, make friends beyond your discipline, and you knows you could be the next big thing in that very strange area that you are seeking friendship from. So always stay curious, question, ask, and be adaptable, you know. Try to fit in. I think I've talked about this collaboration, and it's the tool towards bringing the world together as one. Because of lack of sufficiency, we said here in Africa we lack the capital, financial capital to invest in research. So for some of us who are involved, especially in glycoscience, where it is very difficult, and in that field, there is very little that has been done in this part of the world. So most of the time you'll find yourself, you know, collaborating with international partners so as to be able to have this technology transfer back to our country and also start doing our real work here in Kenya, as opposed to shipping samples all the time to other capitals. So most importantly, to be relevant, always align your skills with the real world needs. So look at the needs around you and come up with ideas, because your mind or your head is a boiling point of ideas. So you need to come out with these ideas based on what your surrounding is asking you to do. So from your surrounding, you can always find a lot of ideas that you can be able to explore to change the role. So your role as a professional lab-based scientist is that I'm speaking with a bias to healthcare because that is my background, is that you are the one who is going to cause transformation in our healthcare system, because we have a lot of challenges, and this will come through, you know, diagnostic science and looking for biomarkers of various unique problems. Vaccinology, we are still struggling with the vaccine for AIDS up to today. When COVID came, remember what happened to Africa. None of African countries was able to come up with their vaccine. And when other countries were making their vaccine, their priority was their population, until the World Health Organization had to come in, you know, so that those countries who have the capacity and who are already producing COVID jabs were now able to have a certain fraction going to Africa. And when you, sometimes I think when you looked at those vaccines, some of them were written on for Africa only, such that that was a WHO direction. So what I'm simply saying is that there are many opportunities, such as creating vaccines in this country, and you need your minds to do that. Some of these vaccines outside there are being created by Kenyans. These ideas are coming from Kenyans, are coming from Africans. So why is it not possible that these Africans, when they are in Africa, can think of coming up with these vaccines? And I can tell you that we are very good thinkers, but we don't have sufficient resources to be able to address these problems. And that's why I will always tell you to collaborate, to open your networking channels so that you can be able to even solve the problems around your community. So there are also opportunities in treatment monitoring, like cancer monitoring. There are very huge opportunities there to find biomarkers that are not invasive, that can be able to monitor the treatment and also predict, predict resistance to existing treatment approaches. Then there's disease prevention, there's One Health approach. All these are opportunities, and you can also contribute to the policy formulation in the country. You are needed there as a researcher. So other emerging areas are point of care diagnostics, which is becoming very popular and also very helpful in terms of early diagnosis. There's also molecular medicine, which has been there for quite long, but it's still developing in other fields. Like I told you, the glycomics is still a developing field. Genomics is already fully developed here in Kenya. We also very developed in terms of proteomics, including metabolomics. So what I can tell you is that the field is full of opportunities, so you only need to find your niche and run with it. So from knowledge to impact, impact does not happen automatically. You'll have to be intentional about it. You will have to ask yourself many questions. Who will benefit from what I know? And I can tell you, when you are walking around in our communities, and I'm not telling you about cities only, I'm telling you even in your rural communities, you can find a lot of people that can benefit from your knowledge as a scientist. So then the next thing will be to ask yourself, how will these skills solve those real problems? And that is from my end. I talked to you about the organization that I head here, which is affiliated to a UK one. We have been able to address maternal and neonatal challenges in 7 counties of Kenya. And we are still doing the expansion, because what we are doing with maternal health and neonatal health is to be able to protect mothers from unnecessary deaths and also losing the neonates. So I do this because as a scientist, I'm able to think and also infuse my ideas into these interventional strategies that can help to reduce death. But I'm not a gynecologist, because I'm dealing with the maternal and the neonatal staff. But we collaborate with the gynecologists, we collaborate with the radiographers, the sonographers, the nurses, the clinical officer, everybody working together towards reducing, bringing change in the community in general. Okay, so what I can also tell you is that as a scientist, you are not limited to your area in terms of bringing change. Just walk around your communities, and then you'll always find something that you can contribute to bring a positive change in the community. I'm just finishing. So beyond lab practice, it's not enough. You must also lead. So the importance of governance in healthcare, this is what you'll also have eventually to learn as a scientist, that you have to be to practice prudence in management of the resources that you have. And those resources could be financial, it could also be the human resource around you. So it also calls for leadership in science. Okay? And there are so many things that you can practice. You can also be an advocate of positive change by picking a cause to champion. So I think it's the same slide that we have discussed. Opportunities ahead. Your field is evolving rapidly. There are many opportunities. There are biomedical research. I think we have already discussed this. So you are entering a field that is shaping the healthcare, so be prepared. So my advice to you is that be a disciplined individual and be consistent in whatever work you're doing. At this stage, develop both technical and soft skills and try to perfect them. Then don't lock yourself in a silo, network and seek mentorship in and without. So as a student, you don't only have to seek mentorship in Chuka. You can also get some ideas from Kisii University or Masai Mara or Kenyatta University, Nairobi University. So the academicians are very free people. If you are willing to learn, then you can be able to, they can be able to take you on board to advise you as you do your master's, as you do your PhD, and also if you want postdoctoral experience. So again, stay adaptable in this very rapidly evolving field. We know where we are coming, for sure. We know who has discovered what. We know who is trying to discover what. But where we are going is open for everybody. No one knows what is going to happen in future. So all of us are at equal pace, including you. So it is your time, to be curious and also to be consistent. Take initiative, don't wait for opportunities, create, and if possible, chase after them. So my closing thoughts is your education is not the end goal, it is an enabler. So I know there is a tendency of many students to say, I am here just to pass exams. And for sure, when the exams comes, you are very good at, cramming. And then you'll say, I just want to pass exams. What happens later, I will handle it. So what I'm telling you is that education is meant to enable you to be prepared to do the future tasks, to be relevant in practice. How will you use it to change the world? How are you going to use the knowledge you acquired today to change the world? That should be not application change. Discussions.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Francis, for that. We can appreciate him. Yeah, before we go to questions, maybe I can see, Angela, your hand is raised. Maybe you can say what you have. Dr. Angela, are you with us?
Yes, I'm with you. So it was a compliment to what Dr. Francis has said. In the earlier generation, there was money given to do research for students. Unfortunately, it's not there right now. And it's even happening in the international space, whereby it's a structure that is put in. So you can't just shadow anyone. You can't just say, I want to come to your lab to learn experience, even if it's free. So I'm wondering how we would be able to bridge that gap, because for us, for example, there's if you come to ILRI, there's a stipend, there's a health, you're given a health insurance, then you're given costing on the bench space and everything. So there's a lot of things that go into, and then that is taken out of a project. So it's bigger than what we think, but I think that I don't know how we can bridge the gap between universities and private institutes and also international institutes. I'm not so sure how we can go about it. And maybe Dr. Francis might have a say in this.
Yeah, it's a fact that resources are contracting everywhere. You know, globally, people are beginning to. Sorry. Yes. So the resources are contracting everywhere globally, and many countries are also beginning to look inwards. Of course, you know what happened to USAID and PEFA. It was USA was a major funder of AIDS research in this country, but we know a lot of things went to zero, especially when the current US administration came into power. And he usually announces it. Other countries are not as loud as US, but still they have also cut resources. So it calls upon for us as a community of scientists to bring this forth, because we usually have budgets in this country and we have our unique challenges. So we need also to agitate, be advocates that I talked about, of a positive culture that can support research in the country. So we have the National Research Fund, which is always underfunded. We also have the cancer research, National Cancer Research, which is also underfunded. I know the NFI, it's called NRF, can only give you a grant of 3 million to do research. If I'm talking about 3 million, that would only be able to collect data for me before the research itself. So it looks so insufficient. And that's why even in the space that is really decreasing in terms of funding, especially with our traditional partners, we must still continue to engage, collaborate with them, because it's not everything is lost. For example, there are many research initiatives that are happening within the European region, the Horizon. They are every week they're advertising that. So we also just need to change our focus on US and probably look at other sources, including, I've also seen China is also doing that. I shared recently a Chinese professor from Tsinghua University shared with me about a call from China. So those are things that we still don't know, because we have been always, focused on the West. So we need to open our thinking and establish even research collaborations with the eastern part of the world, with the East, and hopefully we can survive in this ground that is really shaky at the moment. Angela, I hope I've attempted to.
Yes, you did. And also to say that in the Livestock Institute, we are lacking biochemists group. I think they all go to the human side without realizing livestock also have vaccines, and we need biochemists. So whether it is diatomic or polyatomic in a human or a livestock, it's still the same molecule. That's all I can say. So we try and welcome a lot of biochemists who can use the HPLC, who can use, because a microbiologist will not be able to do something that a biochemist can do. These are all molecules and we are on this other side, but we need to put it together.
So that's very nice to hear from you, Angela, because majority of our students, and I know this hall is full of biochemistry students, very soon they will be looking for chances of internship or attachment. So it is through that you can also be able, they can also be able to know how the space is wide out there. True, if you can give them opportunities to be attached, take like 5.
I don't think there'll be 5, it will only be 1. It's very competitive because it's all going through funds, but I think we don't have a lot of applications for biochemists. There are always people, immunologists, microbiologists, but we still have to have someone who can tweak the machine and also do that this molecule is not this molecule. That's why I'm saying diatomic or polyatomic, it's still the same, whether you do it in humans or animals.
Indeed, that's true. That's why we are currently also advocating for One Health, because One Health simply means the human being, the animal, and the environment as one, because we treat the three as one.
Yes.
Yes. So our students, it's important that they know that.
Yes.
That at the moment, what is current is one health approach. So those ones who are seeking to go, not in industry but in life science, an opportunity. I mean, there's opportunities that exist in the livestock sector, opportunities that exist in the environment. Treating our waste, because waste, again, how we handle our waste,
yes,
determines on how we live, either healthy or unhealthy.
Yes, I think it determines on the spillover.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a very important session for the students, the future scientists, to know this.
Thank you, Dr. Francis.
Okay, I can see Onesimus, your hand is up.
Okay, is it on my side or what? Yeah, so I think time is gone, and sorry for the discussion back and forth. It's the interest of science. I think the speakers are really interested on making you guys go ahead and make impact out there. So apparently something I've learned in this side where I'm studying, I've learned from China also, although it's different. I don't know whether we have societies for microbiologists in the country and society for biomedical scientists. That's a thing that has been lacking in our country. So I'll urge you, even the young generation scientists who are here for today, like, you guys can go ahead and form organization which can interact between different universities. Because here in Canada, we have like organization which even to US, like members, you become members, you interact with those scientists in that area, you interact with the industries, and through that you can learn of opportunities and ways to like integrate your science, and also you can also learn where you want to go. So I'd urge the stakeholders, especially the scientists, the lecturers, and the lecturers are should start the bridge, should start from you guys, because you are the bridge between students and the outside world. Try to connect with the organization. You have Biochemical Society of Kenya, we have Microbiology Society of Kenya. We can use those platforms to enhance our competence for us to create impact. So thank you so much.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Any other question before we close? to our speaker. Yes.
So, my name is Derek. I'm a third year biochemistry student, and my question is to Dr. Angela. So, I applied my attachment for
Could the person come very forward to the mic because we're struggling to hear? Sorry about this.
Yeah, okay. So, as I've said, my name is Derek. I'm a third year biochemistry student, and I applied for my attachment to ILRI. So, my question was to you, Dr. Angela. How long does it take for you guys to respond to those people who have applied? And also, if you guys, do you make a formal communication to those people who have qualified, or do you not? Thank you.
So my question will also, I'll throw Dr. Francis in because he said he was willing to mentor, but I think we're all humans and we have to agree sometimes we are a bit late on some responses. And it also depends on how serious the other person is, in my own opinion. Because I'll have like 10 applications in a day, but out of those 10, people are just, it sounds like a chat GPT, like just sending, but only very curious people will follow up. So the follow-ups is what I do, but I try to respond in maybe 48 hours. And then I hope that as a young fellow, you also have your own plan so that I can also advise if your plan will work, but I'm not supposed to be the one to tell you what your plan is. That is in my own opinion, because I'm not going to be doing the groundwork for you. But if you have a plan, I can sit, we can discuss about your plan. I can tell you if the plan will fail, but maybe Dr. Francis might have another.
Well, I didn't really get, I got a broken speech. So he talked about.
Yeah, no, he was asking how, like, sometimes we have people who are approaching mentors, and I think the struggle is between a mentor and a mentee and the time. Maybe if I'm getting it wrong, please step up and tell me. But I think he was just saying it's how soon will they get a reply? Like sometimes it's very hard to get through those walls.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm saying what you had said, but that's what I got from you.
Yeah, I think he's talking about the difficulties of establishing this connection between the mentors. That's a fact. That is true. I mean, and it depends with individuals.
Yes, but he can readjust. Maybe I had my own things, but he can readjust.
Maybe just to clarify, my question was towards the attachment, not mentorship. Attachment.
Can you hear Angela? I can't.
No, I can't. I could not.
My question
Maybe
was, I was addressing the attachment, the upcoming attachment for the third year students who are going to take their attachment, which will begin May, and there is a July cycle. So I was asking, how long does it take? Because I applied for ILRI. I applied to ILRI back in January. It was an online application. I haven't received any feedback. So I was asking, how long does it take you guys to reply, or do you guys do like a follow-up communication regarding where you get?
You get you. Dr. Francis, did you get it? So he's just asking if you made an application, but you don't need to. It might tell you to come back to the front. So he's just asking, like, if you make an internship application, and maybe it's through an organization, so how long does it take? I can tell you for sure at ILRI, the scientists have nothing to do with an online application. That is through capacity development, and it's a set of CVs which we are never preview of, because apparently we are told we can be very biased if we bring our own people. So they try to make it very like clear and void. So our system is, it goes through HR and then it goes to the capacity development, and then the only CVs we see as scientists is the only ones that have been selected through the process. So maybe you might not hear